Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm Ray representing SHYFT Creations, and I'm here with Laurel. So we are extremely excited to have a special guest today, Huda Fahmy, who is the author of Yes, I'm Hot in This, which has a double connotation, as well as That Can Be Arranged, and her more recent book, Huda F Are You, another awesome play on words. So Huda grew up in Dearborn, and I'm afraid I'm saying that wrong because I'm based in Australia. So she actually loved comics as a child, and so not surprisingly, she's created them herself. And through her stories, she's giving a voice to people who are of marginalized communities in a fun and humorous way. And truly, we just are so appreciative to be able to have this conversation, to learn more about her for American Business Women's Day and celebrate her as a businesswoman. She also taught middle school and high school for 8 years, which is something that was a surprise to me when I was doing a bit of research and stalking of her. But all up, she has really grown an incredible platform on Instagram, which I know between Laurel and I would definitely love to learn more about as well for our own, growth and learning. Laurel, did you want to tell us a bit about Duha?
Sure. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Laurel Ewan, and I'm the founder of Duha, which is a social enterprise where we help women in Niger and help them to start a business. We work primarily with women who struggle to be able to feed their families on a daily basis. And they're at the same time very eager, very motivated to start their own business and to change their situation. So we help and invest in these women to help them break free from the cycle of dependency and inshallah become the Duha, or bright morning light, of their communities. And our business model, because we're all about sustainability, we partner with like-hearted businesses such as SHYFT Creations to help businesses bring purpose to their profits. And so they dedicate a percentage of their profits towards helping another woman start a business, inshallah.
Yeah, so SHYFT Creations, like my tagline is streetwear with meaning. So we're really excited with this collaboration because it's taking that streetwear with meaning to the next level. But enough about us. We'd love to know more about yourself, Huda. So I guess to start off, we'd just love to know the story behind your business as an author.
Well, assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah khairan so much for having me. I don't really often get asked to talk about the business aspect of what I do. And so it's really, this is a really refreshing interview for me. So I'm really happy to be able to share that part and hopefully shed some light on how others maybe are interested in doing it as well. I did not have the intention of starting this as a business. It really came from like one step at a time, in which the first step was just, I wanted to get published. I wanted to write a book of essays, a memoir about my life. I had just given birth to my first son about 6 years ago and decided to step away from teaching to raise him. And then I realized 6 months into being a new mother that I was like, oh, like, is this it? Like, I should probably do more things to enrich myself that is outside just being a mother. And so I started writing stories. I wrote long form, just, essays about things that had happened to me. And then eventually they kind of, through the encouragement from my sister and family, they turned into drawings and then comics. And so I thought, okay, when I tried to get published, I queried a bunch of agents and they were all like, nobody wants to read a memoir about somebody they don't know. Like, memoirs are the hardest book to sell. And if they don't know you, they're not going to want to buy a memoir about you. They're like, grow a platform and then come back to us. So like, okay, I've got this goal now of growing a platform. And so I started reading. Like, I knew I had a voice, I knew I had a story, and I had this medium of comics, and which were very rough at the beginning, stick figures drawn with pencil, pen, scanned into a computer, like very old style. Like, I had no no technological advancements besides, an internet connection and a scanner. Like it was very, I wasn't sure how, like if I was going to do this long term, but it was a goal. And it was after Trump was elected, and there was the Muslim ban, and there were a lot of people that were telling stories about Muslims that had no business telling our stories. So I felt extra motivated to start sharing what it was like to be a Muslim. And subhanAllah, like it kind of took off, and it was this thing that I guess people really liked, and they liked the sense of humor, which was refreshing, because you always think you're funny, but like, are you really funny? I don't know. And some people thought I was funny, so I was like, okay, let's go with it. And alhamdulillah, it grew from there, and I've got an agent, and I was able to, subhanAllah, instead of me querying agents, now they were querying me, and they were asking me to if I wanted to be represented by them. And so I was really blessed, alhamdulillah, for that opportunity. And then from there, with the help of my agent, we were able to kind of help develop the brand and help become a little bit more focused in what we were trying to do. And I had already sold my first book before my agent contacted me. And so she was really like, oh man, like, no, it was poorly done. And she, but subhanAllah, like I learned a lot from that first deal, selling my book for very little, didn't really know what I was doing, didn't really know. I was just happy that the idea that anybody wanted to pay for my stuff was novel. It was like, growing a platform is one thing, but then it's like, oh, you want to like actually pay me for my work? And then my agent, I keep calling her my agent, but her name is Kathleen. Kathleen is amazing. And she just kept putting in this, she kept drilling into me that your time is valuable, you are valuable, you have worth, your voice is worth being paid your value. And subhanAllah, I just kind of developed this whole I didn't realize how important it was to ask your worth. I know it seems so simple and so like common sense, like, yeah, ask your, just like ask what you think that you're worth. But I was always valuing myself at such a low value. And through Kathleen's help and my husband's help, subhanAllah, I just, it became very, very good for my confidence, and very good for knowing what it is that what I had to offer. I'm talking so much.
We love it. Honestly, I can resonate a lot with everything you said, because I myself, I am a writer as well. So in SHYFT Creations, you'll see peaks of my writing through some of the poems behind my collections. But one of the things I really resonate with is when you talked about how we don't value ourselves. I remember in my entrepreneurial journey, I started off doing like service-based businesses, and I struggled so much because normally I help people for free. And, a lot of my sort of businesses were helping people in different ways. So it was so hard to charge. Then I actually found it easier with a product, because I'm like, oh, well, it's something physical, so they should charge, but still I'll be charging so little. So it's been a journey for sure with myself. So I can relate so much to that. So thank you for mentioning that, because I think that's an important part of the journey of an entrepreneur, and for the women as well, that we hope to help. And this.
On that note, I think one thing that my husband tells me is, let's say you want to offer, you have a service and you want to offer, like he was telling me, let's say offer $1,000 for a speaking engagement, right? And I was like, which is very low now that I know about how I've done this, how many times now, for how many years, but let's just say $1,000. And he's like, I was like, no one's going to pay $1,000. Who's going to pay to hear me talk for $1,000? Let me just do it for like, I'll do it for $200 or $100 or something. And he was like, the people that are going to pay $1,000 are the ones that are going to respect your time. They're going to value you and what you have to say. And they're going to know it, because they're like, this is how much we respect her and we want her. The people that pay, those are the ones, he's like, those are the ones you want as clients, or those are the people that you want to have. He's like, if they aren't willing to pay that much, they're not going to treat you well. They're not going to value you. You don't want those kind of people anyway, being the ones who hire you or have you come to speak. And so he's like, believe me, he's like, you're people who will pay that much are out there, and you want those kind of people to be your customers, or you want those people to be your supporters. You don't want the ones who are not going to pay what you're worth, because they're not going to treat you well. They're going to treat you like you're doing them a favor or something. And he's like, you don't want that. And so I just like, oh my God, you're right. And so I was just, but it's taken so long to rewire that idea of somebody willing to pay to hear me talk. I can't imagine it at all. Or charging $20 for a print or something like that. Something, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, who's going to pay? I was like, oh, I made a Ramadan poster. I made a Ramadan poster for schools. And I offered that one for free. And I made another one for offices. And he's like, you should charge for the offices. He's like, people are going to put that in their offices. And it's like what to expect during Ramadan for your Muslim employees. And he's like, people are going to buy this. You need to charge like $20. And I was like, $7. And he's like, no, what are you doing? He's like, the people that will pay $20, you want those people, and they're the ones who, I don't know, anyway. So I was like, no. He's like, you all. He kept saying,
Totally.
Like, he kept trying to explain it to me that, how many customers do you need? If you just need one customer to pay $20 versus 3, at least, to get to 20, buying it at $7. He's like, and you want that one customer that pays $20 and it'll be worth it. And I promise. And they're out there and da, 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 da. And I didn't listen, because I still have a hard time valuing myself. Like, it's easy to say this, but then like when you do it in practice, it's still, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
Right. It's a process, right? And it's funny that you mentioned that Ramadan poster. Because that's actually how I heard about you, Huda, because I work, obviously, I work, but I was actually Googling how to, talk to my colleagues at work about Ramadan, because there are not that many Muslims in my workplace. And I'm definitely the only Muslim on my team. And I like to share more about, who I am. And also I'm a convert. So it's like, I didn't know how to have those conversations, but I understood from their shoes how they probably know nothing about Ramadan. So it made me even more eager to want to share. So I did some Google searching and I found your poster, mashallah. And I actually, I was one of the, I just took a screenshot.
Wonderful.
I took a screenshot and sent it to my colleagues, because I was like, this is perfect. Such a perfect medium to share. Yeah, alhamdulillah. So very grateful for that. But I should have paid that $7. But yeah,
okay, you got the low grade, you got the low GPA.
Exactly. But yeah, everything that you're saying, especially about the self-worth and, even still to this day, and mashallah, how successful you are, seeing that you still need to remind yourself of it's the $20, not the $7, right? It's a process. And I feel like that's a message for me right now, because I am actually, that's my struggle right now, trying to, keep Duha sustainable and run it, right? But I'm like, why would people want to pay me?
That's what I doesn't.
But yeah, but such an amazing piece of advice for us all. But that leads me to my next question in terms of what are the biggest challenges that you faced throughout starting your business and running your business?
So besides myself really being one of my biggest challenges is just kind of getting over the lack of confidence and the lack of self, the way I value myself, self-worth. It's tough. Those are definitely tough obstacles to overcome. So having a good support system, people that believe in you, people that believe in your message, people that believe in your work and what you're doing and your voice, that really listening to them, really believing in them, believing in you is important. And then practically speaking from the actual business perspective. So for me, it's, I've had trouble figuring out for me, okay, who is my audience? Who is my, I'm trying to create this brand. So, what am I selling, or what am I offering? What is the problem that I'm solving? Or what is, what do I want to be the focus? Do I want it to be the comics? Do I want it to be me? What do I, am I selling myself as the brand, or am I selling Yes, I'm Hot in This as the brand? So these are kind of questions that I've had to kind of go through and struggle with, like trying to categorize differently in everything, in the way that I've set up my website, the way that I've set up my shop, and the way that I've designed a logo. You know, these are very minute details that people don't realize go into, and they seem so little, but I mean, really, if you're creating a business, this is, you know, you want to have a good website, you want to be able to have good traffic. Who are people searching for? Are they searching for Huda Fahmy? Are they Googling Yes, I'm Hot in This? So like having to understand that and know that, you know, I to learn it, like I have to like go through and study and research and figure it out so that I can make the most of what I'm doing. And then because what I'm doing is I also write books. I write books, I do my comics, I have my website where I sell some products. I also do speaking engagements. So I think, am I doing too much? Am I, you know, how am I, you know, am I going to scale back? Is there something, am I done with comics? Have I done everything that I could to do that so I can focus a little bit more on my books? You know, those are some of the things. I don't know if that answers your question, but those are a lot of the things that I've kind of been struggling with, you know, since it started. And right now, because I had my second son a year ago, my engagement has dropped dramatically. Like I have not jumped on this reel, the Instagram reel or the TikTok bandwagon fast enough. And now it's like, oh man, it's hard and time consuming for me to do it. And yes, I can figure it out, but like I don't have the time, and it feels more soul sucking because part of what I like about my comics is I don't have to put my face out there. Like it's something that I can, almost like a security blanket, like I can just hide behind my comics, and I feel braver almost to be able to tell my stories in my voice without being too vulnerable, because people don't really connect it with my face. So it makes it easier. And so I didn't kid on so anyway, so now that I'm back posting more regularly, my engagement has dropped drastically, which is not a good thing, because I'm going to be promoting my new book in a few months. And so I need to now figure out, this is the new stress of like, how am I going to bring back my engagement with a 1-year-old and a 6-year-old, and trying to create new comics and trying to figure out reels and TikTok and market myself where I'm not annoying. Like that's what I'm struggling with right now. Yeah.
Gosh, yeah. Just social media in general has been a struggle for me, because it changes. So one is once you learn, okay, this is what I need to do, then it changes and there's a new thing and you have to learn the new thing. So totally feel your struggle. And actually you said something that prompted me to ask another question, which is your children, your family. I think that, you know, we're here today talking about and celebrating, you know, business women for American Business Women's Day. And so I am curious on, I think as a woman, there are extra challenges when you're running a business. So I'd love to know more about, like, how do you juggle that, the business, with being a woman? So being a wife, a mother, a daughter, a sister.
Yeah, there's so many roles that we take. Not to say that, you know, our partners also, you know, for my husband being husband, father, you know, and he's doing amazing. He's doing an amazing job. And I think if it wasn't for him being there for me and helping me, you know, raise our kids and being like, right now they're playing, he does this every night. Like he'll come home and I know he's exhausted, and I'll be like, ring, your turn. And he'll take them and he'll play with them and really give me a chance to just relax. Cause like my night times, I'm already like which is around right now, it's I'm out, I'm checked out. I don't have the energy. I don't want to have the energy. I just want to relax. I just want to rest. I just, you know, I want to watch a K-drama. I don't really want to do any work. And it's really then it's harder on myself, because then throughout the day I'm cooking and cleaning, watching the 1-year-old, hoping that he takes a nap today, and hopefully in the 2 hours that he's napping, because he only takes one nap, I will get everything else that I need to get done. And it's a hustle. And I know that inshallah, when he starts school or daycare, whenever he starts at around maybe 4 is when we did the last one. So we'll probably do it at 4 years old as well. Then I'll have more time and I'll free up and I'll be able to do more. And so it's really just this idea of, okay, I have this goal. Again, it's a very goal-oriented way that I have to manage, and expectations. My expectations have to be realistic and they have to be attainable. And so for me, it's like, this is the time that I'm given. This is what I can do to maintain my health and my mental status and my marriage status, because there's also that aspect where my husband and I've had to have a conversation where I'm like, listen, I feel like I'm not a priority right now to you, and I need to know that we can set aside this time. And I know that seems like, oh, it's so unromantic. You actually have to schedule cuddle time, and it's like, yes, I'm sorry, but realistically, yes, I need to schedule that time. So like, okay, 8:30 to 10:30, please. That's us time. And so, I mean, it's just for now. And I know that it's not forever, and things change, much like the algorithm. Things change so much every day. It's just a different day. And so, for now, this chapter is like, yes, we're going to have to schedule cuddle time. That is this chapter. That's what we have to do. It's going to change again in a few months, probably. Yes, it will. And we'll roll with that and get there too, inshallah. So I think it's having those expectations, being flexible, knowing your expectations will have to change as your reality changes, and being open to that, being okay with that, and having, of course, again, having that support. Alhamdulillah, I have that support, and just being understanding of each other and patient of each other, because I don't think I'd be able to do this in Allah alam, what I can and cannot do without my husband. But he's really there to help me balance it all. Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. That's such amazing advice, especially in terms of like setting those realistic expectations and needing to schedule in that time. That's really important. And a lot of people, especially like myself, I'm a dreamer. So I think about, oh, these are my dreams. The possibilities are endless. But then, of course, the danger is once I'm in it, I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do all of this? Like reality hits me. So it's so good to be able to, be grounded. Your advice is very grounding, right? So alhamdulillah for that. So I wanted to ask you, for those that are looking to start a new business and maybe wearing many hats, like maybe they're working full-time right now, maybe they're also about to get married or entering a new, marriage, something that's very new, or about to have a new baby. What advice would you give to this aspiring entrepreneur?
Is that okay? So for now, I think this is what the first thing that came to mind, because it's the thing it's what I keep telling myself when things feel like they're overwhelming and you have so many things that you're juggling and that you're trying to do, or that you're about to do, or you're about to start this new journey. Baby steps, like little, like doing anything in the day is better than doing nothing in the day. And I have this problem where I'm like, oh no, if I don't have uninterrupted time, I cannot get this thing done. I need uninterrupted time. And I've had to change that again because of the reality changing and my baby not napping. And it's just like, I'm like, okay, he's just gone down to a nap. Do I take the 10 minutes and just sit down and hope that he's going to sleep? Or do I do something, anything, even if it's just like, yes, mama. Even if it's just, okay, just sit down and think of an idea for a new, nobody, I did not have you. Sorry. What was that, Mom? Did you say something? No, that wasn't me. I don't know. What? Nope. Didn't say anything. Nothing. That's so funny. Anyway, take that time and and take advantage of whatever it is that you can do. You can do so much in a whole day, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just like, for example, I'm doing this thing where it's not work related, but it makes me feel very satisfied. And it's like, I'm organizing my garage, and I haven't, in the 9 years I've lived in this house, I have not touched that garage, and it's just mountains and mountains of boxes and stuff. And I don't know where to go, and I don't know what to do. I didn't know where to start. And it was just, okay, let's start with this one corner. It's just one corner. And I tell myself, that's all you need to do today, is just that one corner. And so in terms of business, be like, okay, you just need to send that one email. Just send that one email today. It doesn't have to be this huge, huge thing that you have to get done. It's like, if you can get one thing done, a tiny little thing even, that's how it starts. And then those little things, those tiny little things, they just build up and build up and build up. And then you really do feel accomplished. And it could take, I'm very much like, I have to finish this garage in one day. And then I had to change that and be like, okay, it might take me 2 weeks to finish this garage, and I have to be okay with that. So set your goals, set your expectations. They don't have to be huge goals, tiny little achievements every day. And they all just kind of turn into like this huge mountain eventually, and it really will get done. So start small. Don't worry about it being too small. Don't compare yourself to other creators or other, entrepreneurs. In terms of like, oh man, I'll never be like that person. Like, no, just, you have your goals, you have your expectations, you can do it. You can do it. And I think that's something that you got to like internalize and tell yourself, I can do this. And the only person that's going to tell you can't is yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. That's been a journey for me as well, of focusing on the baby steps versus like similar to you. In the beginning, like of being a writer as well, I was like, okay, I want to finish my draft of my novel in a month, and just these big goals, and then you beat yourself up when you don't achieve it, and then and it's sort of that snowball of it demotivates you because you keep beating yourself up. So
and then you give up, and then there's that fear of you just give up because you're not seeing the results as quickly as you expect to see them.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been, I think it's such important advice of the focusing on the baby step. What's the next baby step I can do? And so thank you. Really appreciate that. So we've talked a bit about challenges, and we've talked about, the managing and juggling things. And so to maybe change the tone of our conversation a bit, like we'd love to know, like, what's your favorite parts of your business?
Oh man, I love having my own schedule. I love being flexible. I love that. I went from teaching where I had to be up super early, and then I brought work home with me. So I was always working, and it was just exhausting. And I never felt I never felt like I had a second to myself. So it was, even though I set my own hours and I can work whenever I want. And I know that I'm working, all the time. It's still, I can still take a day off. I can still relax. So I really like that I can set my own schedule and time. My baby, I'm thinking of my baby and my family who really actually sets the schedule, but you know what I mean? Like it's the freedom. It's freedom that I am, that I'm the one that's creating this by Allah's will and working on it to make something. And I think that I've always wanted to create. I've never wanted to just sit still and I've just always wanted to be doing something and making something. And especially I've loved talking to, like, I loved teaching in terms of like, obviously teaching my students, and here I get to teach, edutain people with my comics and my speaking events and my books. And so that's just absolutely being able to do the things that I love and kind of like blend them all together. Alhamdulillah, I feel so blessed that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed this that I am doing something that so perfectly blends the stuff that I've just always loved and always wanted to do and never thought it would happen and that it would be possible. And here it is. And I'm just blown away. SubhanAllah. So it's just seeing your dreams and like your du'as like coming true, things that you the power of du'a, the power that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can really answer your du'as. And then so there's like you believe it and you know it, but you also know there's also that in the back of your mind, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could also decide to answer your du'a maybe in Jannah, maybe after you die. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might answer it in a different way. Allah might think or might say, this is not the best for you, I'm going to give you something different or something better. And you never know how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to answer your du'a, and you have faith. And so to see your du'a manifest and actually being answered in the way that you really hope that it would be answered is amazing. And so that's another part. It's just amazing. Alhamdulillah.
Absolutely. MashaAllah, that's beautiful. Actually, myself and Ray, we met through Sheikh Mohammed al-Sharif Rahimahullah's program Visionaire. Have you heard of this program?
Yeah,
And it's
like
a dream dua program, right? And so actually we met because of duas, alhamdulillah, and my business started because of a dua too, and Ray's as well. And even Ray and I were reflecting last year how I didn't even have Duha started at that time. It was just an idea, and we had connected, and Ray so graciously, was so excited to be able to partner with Duha when it was just an idea, and like 1 year later, here we are launching, alhamdulillah. So it's the power of dua. It's amazing. My next question, as you know, we are interviewing you as part of our launch on American Business Women's Day, where Duha and SHYFT are partnering up so that we created a joint dua collection. And 50% of the profits from the new dua collection will actually go towards Duha to help women start a new business. So wanted to ask you, because of our launch and the theme of dua, what does dua mean to you?
I love Visionaire. I love Sheikh Mohammed al-Sharif. I think what he did with Visionaire is, life-changing for so many people. And the ones who, I have friends who've taken it year after year after year. And I was able to take it as well a long time ago. And I think, subhanAllah, I think we really underestimate, if people really knew the power of dua, and that, there's a book, Yasir Qadi, I think the dua is the weapon of the believer. And it's something that I think we take for granted a lot. And we forget that you could be making dua in every moment of your life, while you're driving, while you're just sitting there, while you're running out of a thought that you're not, just making a dua, and you never know when the doors of Jannah are going to be open, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hear your dua, and that the angels will take up your dua, and these are not just like fairy tales. These are not just things that we believe in. It's not like, elves or anything like that. This is like a real, almost like a power that you have to ask Allah for anything, and know in your heart 100% that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the power to make anything happen like that. And it's just, when you know that, I don't know how you can't put your entire future, your soul, I don't know how you don't just spill your whole soul out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask for whatever it is you want. And I think one of the things that, like Sheikh Mohammed al-Sharif had said, like, ask for the thing that you would never in like a million years think that Allah, like, that you would ever get. And like, and Allah will, and imagine Allah will give it to you. Like, just imagine that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give it to you. And that was like, that's the power of dua. Like, you just make your dua. And that thing, like, for me, it was like, I've always wanted this giant house on the cliffs in California where you overlooking the ocean. I'll never get it. And then it was like, imagine you just make dua, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could answer that dua, and that could be you, that could be yours. Like, you never, I don't know, I'm babbling, but I think also knowing, again, that the way that your du'as are answered, and being happy with the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers your dua, because there's people who make the dua and then they get disappointed when it doesn't get answered the way. And that's something I have to like teach my kid. When he says, I made dua for this, but it didn't happen, I'm like, you don't know how Allah's going to answer it. And I think that's just something that we have to remind ourselves as well, is that you never know, you're saving your dua or giving you something even better. Like, did I answer the question? I don't know if I answered the question.
I did. Most definitely. This is that self-doubt kicking in,
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's always there. It's always, I feel like, but then I hear like I'm talking to myself too much, or I'm hearing my own voice, and it's like, just anybody else? You can stop me.
That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. Actually, one of my favorite lines I think of Sheikh Mohammed al-Sharif is, do you stand before a king and just ask him for a penny? Like, you don't stand in front of a king and just ask for a penny. I always have to remind myself that, because when you ask for a penny, that's like your own limitations, right? It's not Allah. SubhanAllah.
That's right.
Absolutely. So, you, mashallah, you are an example of an empowered woman, and I think definitely through your stories, you are giving, like confidence to others by sharing and being vulnerable. So like, we'd love to know, like, what does empowering women mean to you, since that's a big part of what this collection is about that we're in partnership with.
I mean, I think empowering women can be through words, and it could be through action. And there's, you know, the example, if you live your life by in the example, you can motivate and empower women to feel like, oh, I can do that too. And they can hear your words and they can feel motivated and they can do that too. And then there's empowering women using by action, money, resources, opportunities, platforms, passing the mic. You know, these are other ways that you can give women the ability to achieve their dreams and to achieve the goals that they need to achieve. So so for me, like, I hope that what I'm doing, and I'm grateful to you, thank you for telling me that it can empower women, because it's hard to know, you know, if it really is or not. I can't speak to other people's experiences, and I can only hope that when I share my experiences, that it is making women confident enough to live their lives how they, you know, how they want to live it. You want to live your life wearing a hijab. You want to live your life proudly as a Muslim woman, not letting anybody kind of look down on you, or allowing that at least to bring you down. And that's why I hope that through my comics and through my works that I can empower women to feel confident as well. Then I'd like to, as well, I have, I used to, before things got a little more complicated with my son, but I like to give other women opportunities to use my platform, and I would give them control of my account for the day, and they would kind of use it however they wanted, to raise money or to just introduce themselves or to introduce their brand or whatever. So I tried to do it that way as well. I think it's important, you know, for us to say, yes, I want to empower women, but then we don't ask the actual demographic, you know, of women, like, what is it that you need help with? How can we empower you? You know, a lot of times we come from a place of privilege, and we can talk about, oh, I know what's best. I know what they want that's going to help them. But I think it's important, it's absolutely important to ask how, you know, how do you need help? So for example, I think Domestic Violence Awareness Month, I think that's this month or next month, October. And I think it's important, like, you know, if you want to ask women who are victims of domestic violence, what kind of help do you need? What kind of help can we give you to help empower you, to bring you up? You know, because it's like, for me, I can make like a really nice banner or a really nice comic saying I support, you know, women, but then it's like, how is that practically going to help them? So, or I'm going to create a new organization that's going to help, and it's like, are there other organizations that are already doing something better than me that I can help them? You know what I mean? So instead of me trying to do it and I have no idea what I'm doing, giving support to those who are on the ground, who are doing the work, and trying to support them and empower them in that way. So I think it's it's very different. There are different ways that you can empower women. Yeah, and I just hope that I'm helping.
Thank you. I appreciate you, you know, sharing the scope of how people could, in addition to just, you know, what it means to you. So thank you.
Yeah, that was a beautiful way to frame it, very practically as well, right? And I love how you shared that you also share your platform with other women to help promote their brand or whatnot. MashaAllah, that's such a beautiful and creative way as well to be able to use the gifts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you and to share that with others, which is part of our deen, MashaAllah.
Hope I can bring it back. Inshallah. I was much better. I was much better about it before. Oh man, just make that for me.
Yeah, Halim.
Sorry, you can cut that part out. I'm sorry. It's so tiring. I just felt like I could do so much more before he came along. I love him so much, and I love this chapter of my life, but it's just, and I'm thinking, I'm lamenting not having done a platform share in so long, because I loved it. I loved being able to do that for other women, and it just takes a lot more mental energy from myself to be able to, because I want to monitor, I want to make sure nothing inappropriate is happening or whatever, and so it takes time and energy to set it up and to do it. And it's part of my I can be a perfectionist at times, and so if I can't control everything, that's a struggle that I'm also going with. I have control issues. So if I can't control every aspect of it, then I just won't do it at all. And so it's something that I'm also kind of working on myself, kind of getting past that and through it. And there's a lot to it. There's a lot to running a business, to running a social media platform. And I think trying to bring it back here into what we're talking about, but and having a business, but you know, you gotta just roll with the punches. And when an obstacle comes up and you learn something about yourself, like I didn't know I was this controlling, I didn't know I was this bunch of a perfectionist until it started happening to me. And it's just like, okay, I might need help. I might need to like ask somebody for help, or really just kind of figure out what is it that's stopping me from doing this, and then trying to hopefully get over that obstacle, inshallah.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's such what you say is so true, because you know, just recently I just started my business March of this year, just before Ramadan, so it's still like super new, but even just to get there was so hard, like the limiting beliefs. It's insane, you know, and I never learned so much about myself until I tried to start a business, and you don't realize how much fear is there. And even just throughout the whole process, it's a constant, you know, you have to constantly reassess and like learn about yourself. And like, I've done so much journaling just to understand my blocks and all of that. Because if you don't get down to that level, it's not going to be healthy for your business as well.
Yeah.
It's so connected with.
It could very much debilitating. It could be very debilitating. If you get it, if that little worm gets into your head that you can't do this, you can't control it, that's it. It'll stop you from going forward. So yeah, we definitely need to, journal through it, talk to somebody about it, just figure it out. Because subhanAllah, I think that's one of the most unexpected things, is just how much I ended up, speaking for myself, how much I ended up learning about myself. Yeah, subhanAllah.
You know, Ray and I, SHYFT Creations and Duha, we've partnered up on a new Duha collection where 50% of the profits will go towards Duha to help women start a business in Niger, inshallah. So wanted to ask you how our campaign resonates with you or with your business.
Sorry. Oh man, I'm very excited that there is this opportunity for women who might have this small, maybe starting small, this idea of maybe I can start this business, maybe I can do this, I'm not sure I can do this, I don't know if I can do this, and then to have an organization like yours kind of allowing them the chance and the ability to get over that fear, to get through that fear, to be like, hey, we've been there, we can help you too. I think it's the definition of empowering, and it's just so helpful and important and necessary. And you know, I'm excited to see what comes from this, inshallah, because I know you guys are going to do great things, and there are going to be great business opportunities that may never have had the chance if it wasn't for your organization. So jazakallahu khairan for what y'all are doing. I'm excited to see more, inshallah.
Jazakallah khairan. Well, thank you so much, Huda. We appreciate you and everything that you have shared. We appreciate your rambling, although we just see it as, you know,
thank you.
Being your authentic self, which in itself is a message, I feel, that I think the best way to live life is just to be you as you are, and just, you know, take things as they come. So thank you so much for your time. And also we'll be staying in touch for sure. But other than that, we really, truly appreciate everything that you shared. Jazakallah khairan.
Oh, please do. Please do. And yes, again, I am excited to see what comes, inshallah.